Are you in love with these trendy Italian day boats, but you're not exactly sure about the operational side? Well, you're in luck, because in this video, we're going to go through everything it takes to go from packed up for the evening to ready to rock and roll for the day. And when I say rock and roll, I mean going for a drive. So this is the Invictus TT420. My name's Dan Jones. You're watching Dan's Boat Life. We're just going to get cracking right now. So I suspect I know what a lot of you are thinking. All this upholstery, many covers, how long is it going to take for me to set this boat up to get ready to go for the day? Well, I timed it this morning. It's 4 minutes and I think it was 42 seconds. I'll show you on the camera in the B-roll. The covers are individual covers for the table, the seats, and the forward seats of the sun lounge. So they're not the sort of covers that are going to be too hard for one or two people to manage when it's windy. So that's it. 4.5 minutes, you're ready to rock and roll for the day. At the end of the day, it's a similar process. And think about it, you and your mates are probably going to be lounging around enjoying this on the boat whilst you give it a wash and then put the covers on when they're dry and ready to roll, or you might have someone who does that for you. Okay guys, so you can't be on this boat without mentioning how you feel at this helm. And I'm going to accelerate in a second. We've just got to exit this bay here before it's safe and sensible to get on the gas. You really do feel exceptionally good. So just bear that in mind, because the sensation, the access you have to both sides, the 3 rows of seats here, just imagine yourself sitting here with a partner or with some mates on a warm day. It's the middle of winter here, but it's 23 degrees today, so we really are getting a taste of summer and what the experience would be like on this TT420. I'm just sitting down on the seat, so bear in mind, these seats appear to be in the fixed position, but I have plenty of leg room here. The seat, or the steering wheel, is adjustable, and the bolsters are quite solid. So if you want to flip them up, which I will actually do, boom, like so. I just want you to pay attention to the angle just there and the design. It is quite a comfortable leaning post if you wish. And before we get going, I'm just going to test the height, because a lot of you have been asking me to show you what it looks like from my perspective, me standing at 5'7", and from someone 1 foot taller. So that's what it looks like if you're 1 foot taller, and if I was sitting down, I would be like so. So I hope that helps. Anyway, twin 440 Volvo, duo props. They're the D6s. I think it's time to get going. We're all clear all around. Let's do this. So 1,000 revs up to 1,200 revs. 77% on the fuel tanks. And we're getting through 8 knots. I'm just going to get the boat straight up on the plane. You can hear those turbos spooling up. And off we go. So time to plane is minimal. Bow raise is slightly noticeable, but didn't hinder me in any way. And I'm sitting on a cruising speed of 21.5 knots right now at 2,700 revs. Feels good. The wind protection is excellent. We've already discussed the sun protection in the walkthrough, but the wind vortices are starting right here, and obviously nothing overhead. So your passengers in the middle and the side are going to be comfortable. So meaning if you were driving this boat, you know, in shoulder seasons where it was a little bit cooler, it's still going to be quite possible, even with just a light jumper, for example. Next thing, noise levels. The insulation on that engine bay, which I pointed out again in the walkthrough, it's really good. It's really good. You could hold a conversation. I'm not really raising my voice right now, so just picturing yourself transiting from A to B on this boat. And this is definitely the style of boat someone might keep up at the Whitsundays as well, where we have tropical environment and going between island to island. But without a doubt, your Sydney day boat scene, this thing fits in perfectly. And yeah, I mean, the noise levels are great for a conversation point of view. So we're just still sitting on that 2,700 revs. Let's bump it up a little bit, and I've just got the legs fully down, and I haven't done any trim at this stage. You do have the possibility to press trim assist. I'll do that right now, and that does the interceptors, and that noticeably drops the bow. So I would actually have that off unless I was in essentially offshore conditions and wanting to lower the bow. I think I'd be fine just having the trim assist in the off position for inshore waters. Got some big waves here, I'm going to go around. Still sitting at 21.5 knots. This boat can be a speed demon if you want it to be. So we will do that in a second. I'm just going to come into the bay here. Now I'm at 22.5 knots, 2,880 revs. Let's give it some more speed. Oh yeah, love that sound. Okay, going through some boat wash in a second. On us in 3, 2, 1. And you'll see the front camera, she sends a bit of wash out to the side. Okay, so that's fine. It didn't come on board, but if it was a really windy day, I suspect it would. So just pay attention to that. So, okay, just sitting on 25.5 knots at 3,040 revs. Let's give it some more. All right, so you really can do a fast cruise at a rev setting of about 3,200 to 3,300 revs is giving us between 27 to 29 knots. I'm at 3,300 there. So if I just back that off a little bit, and now I'm at 3,200, I'm still getting a fairly accurate speed return of, that's 28 knots there. So you're going to eat up the miles with that sort of speed, guys. I have not done full speed just yet. I'm going to come around and do a gentle turn. Okay, the roof design is coming into its own right now. So me from my highest position, I have zero loss of visibility out to port. That's something you always want to check on a boat with a roof design like this, whether it dips down and blocks your visibility. So really your sense of control is epic on this. It's absolutely epic because you can just see everything, which is going to put you in a more relaxed state if you want to chit chat with your buddies, and that's what you do on something like this. Okay, let's just turn again and let's tighten up that turn. We do have a moderate boat wash and wind chop on the harbour today, so this is going to be not completely flat conditions. All right. And so a good test is what I'm trying to say. Let's open it up. All right, that is full power. Speed's climbing through 32, 33, 33. Let's give it a little bit more of a trim up. 33 is the maximum speed I saw there. I believe it could go faster, so maybe that's something to do with the interceptors that I haven't yet worked out. I'll leave a note in the description below if I didn't get that completely right. So let's go into the beach here and simulate some picking up of moorings or dropping your anchor, because that's going to be the next challenge. So another thing I like about this category or this style of day boat, you're probably going to invite a lot of mates out for the day because it's a social boat. That's the idea. But are your mates useful, or do they want to be involved? Maybe they all just want to chit chat and sit around that lovely table back there and have a drink. So that might necessitate you doing all the management of the boat. But with this design from here, the helm to starboard, direct access forward and aft, excellent visibility. I can see the bow, I can see the transom, I can see all points on the boat. So if I need to go forward, unlock the safety on the anchor, not a problem. I'm not getting in anyone's way to do that. And if I want to deploy some fenders because I'm not going up against some pro fender, well, they're stored right there. You can have your ropes in that locker that we saw in the walkthrough underneath the sun lounge at the back there. So everything's quite easily at hand and not in the way or not causing you to get in the way of your guests is what I'm trying to say. So we have a joystick, so let's just activate that now, and I'm going to just swivel the boat. I've got it on low mode right now, and I'm just going to swivel the boat to port. Okay, so here's where the overall displacement of the boat is working to my advantage, because that feels very controllable and no issues there. Okay, so let's just keep that turn going around, and then I'm actually going to slide the boat sideways. I'm just going to slew it to starboard. And we also have a bow thruster, which I think you've probably heard me say this on other videos, is a sensible option on a boat with joystick through stern drives, because the reason I say that, there's a lot of leverage applied from the back of the boat when you're trying to complete movements like we just did. So if you had a bit of a gusty day, it might be too much for the stern drives to complete the maneuver in a respectable amount of time. So having the ability to, it's not very noisy, but I was just using the bow thruster, having the ability to do that just gives you better control, and once again enables you to control this beautiful big 42-foot med day boat by yourself. Okay, so let's slew it to the side. So often you need to do a little bit of joystick control, and what I would always suggest whenever you are side slipping a boat, pick your destination and focus on it. Don't swivel your head around back and forth when you're doing a maneuver like this, because it will just, you'll lose your spatial awareness or your situational awareness, and you might then not put the correct inputs into the joystick. So if you just focus on your target, laser attention with your eyes, then your hand's going to do what you want it to do. So that's really easy. Next thing, deploying the anchor. We can do that from the bow, or we also have the ability to do it here at the dash. I've now tested that today. It's a very simple anchor system. There's no moving parts. It's literally just the anchor deploys and gravity feeds down. So not a great deal of stress just there. The only thing you do want to do is pay attention to the anchor as it retracts, as you're bringing it up at the end of the day. You want to make sure the anchor comes up the right direction. And a little tip on this, just once the anchor is off the sea floor and approaching the boat and you're on your last few meters, just go in reverse for like 1.5 knots. It will actually straighten the anchor out. So then it's going to swivel, point the right direction, and it won't come up backwards. That's all you have to do. Okay, very good. Well, guys, I hope that was useful. I hope you learnt a thing or two. As many of you probably were wondering, how complicated is it to start and pack down a boat like this? It's 4.5 minutes. It's not the end of the world. You can do it yourself, or you can pay someone else to do it. This category of boat is increasing in its popularity. I can see the trends in Europe. They are definitely coming here to Australia. So if you are the sort of person that has a beautiful house that creates wonderful environments around you and you want to carry that onto your boat life, then consider this boat. It's definitely going to do that for you. What does it compete with, or what does it compare with? Boats like the Say yachts, the Carbon 42, I've tested that one. Very different looks, but it is another statement piece. The Fjord 41 XL, for sure, and you could also throw the Solaris 40 Open, the Power, in there as well. So yeah, guys, if that's you, follow the links coming up on the screen right now. Subscribe if you haven't already. I really do appreciate your support. I post videos every Friday and Monday. My name's Dan Jones. You've been watching Dan's Boat Life. See you on the next one.